as a leader and as a member of parliament, I am very much concerned about the BBI process. As someone who was there in the heat of things in 2007, 2008, I can see, depending on how the country manages this process, I can see us going back to 2007, 2008. All the telltale signs are there. There are pressures, and that's from all over, from all sides, to have a contested process. So whether it is from uh, the Raila Odinga side, President Kenyatta side, and maybe even to a lesser extent the side where I belong, William Ruto side, that there are some people across all those three divides who are hell-bent to have a contested process. And my position, my very humble and from the deepest of my heart, is that this country cannot afford a contested PBI process. It is a fact that prior to the BBI launch on Monday, a lot of people from President Kenyatta's side, from Raila Odinga's side, were expecting that Deputy President William Ruto will come there and say, yes, I'm leading the no campaign. And I'm sure they were disappointed and they have gone back to the drawing boards. So mine is to call upon, especially President Kenyatta, to refuse an invitation to have a contested process. I know that he's under a lot of pressure from some people, from some quarters, that, wacha katambe, that let us have a yes and a no, a green and a red, orange and banana. This country cannot afford. One, because of where we are coming. Kenyans are battered by the COVID pandemic. The economy is in tatters. People don't have money. Businesses are just trying now to come back. The Kenyan economy cannot afford, and Kenyan businesses cannot afford a contested process. And I've been talking to a lot of business people, and they are very much afraid, and they are very much concerned. They are just saying, just now we are just trying to see, to salvage our businesses. We are just record the people who we had laid off. Some of them are starting to come back to work. And then in the midst of all this, we have another, contested process we cannot afford. And I want to speak on behalf of people from the political class who are speaking in low tones. They can't come out openly, but they know there are machinations that let us have this political contest. So it behoves upon President Kenyatta. I do believe that President Kenyatta still means everything he says about this BBI. And when he says that he wants a process that is not contested, he actually means it. So I want to really send this message to him, because I know he means well for this country. Please refuse the invitation for a contested process. I understand that over the weekend that the President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, they have convened a meeting in Naivasha to try to chart the way forward. And I'm asking them to please kindly, for the sake of your children, for the sake of this country, for the sake of people who believe in you, please cancel that meeting. Call off that meeting, because it's not going to be inclusive. And even if you say it is Jubilee and ODM or Uhuru side and Raila side, you know very well the people, a lot of people, millions of people who are supporters and followers of William Ruto, even if they are not in a political party, it is about time to recognize them as such. So that when we talk about all inclusive, they are also included. But to assume that they are all in Jubilee is actually to hide our heads in the sand like the proverbial ostrich. So when we talk about all inclusive, if you do not include the millions of people who follow William Ruto, you are lying to yourself. It is a self-deception. It is an exercise in self-deception. So recognize those people and bring them on board. And I think that William Ruto was very magnanimous on Monday, because he did not say, despite a lot of pressure from his base, from his ground, he refused the invitation to say no. He refused the invitation to lead a no campaign. He just said, just like Musalia Mudavadi said, just like Kalonzo Musyoka said, that there are some areas, just like the LSK has said, just like the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union have said, that there are some areas that need to be worked on. So, because he refused that invitation to say no and divide this country, and I can tell you, I can sense some smell of what is coming from the ground. And I want to tell Kenyans, it's not a very good smell. The embers of 207 and 208, I can, I can sense the smell of those embers. And if we, and I think what happened in Kenya the other day should be really something that is frightening as we toy around with how to move ahead with this process. So please, for the sake of Kenyans, we are just trying to take our children back to school right now. We're just trying to reopen our businesses. Let us avoid a contested process of BBI at all costs. And further, how do we move forward from here? I think we have been through this path before, through the 1997 process, the inter-party parliamentary group, uh, which negotiated a way forward. In 2016, again, I was a member of the committee, bipartisan committee between NASA and Jubilee that was led by James Olengo and Kiraito Murungi, that again facilitated the reforms within IBC and enabled us to move into 2017. We need to do it again. And I'm a member of parliament, and you'll wonder why we can't take our legislative proposals through our committees in parliament. It's because you know what has happened in those committees recently when they were reconstituted. Yeah, those committees are not inclusive again. They are just tools of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. So again, you can't depend on JLAC and CYUC, the Constitution Implementation Oversight Committee of Jeremiah Kioni, the other one of JLAC of Muturi Kikano. No, nothing. Those are just partisan tools. So what we need is to have a process of parliamentary parties that also recognizes that William Ruto has a constituency, and let him also have some representatives in that process. We come together, create first of all a roadmap to look at how do we introduce changes to the legislative processes, how do we negotiate the referendum bill that is before Parliament, and how do we negotiate the referendum, the bill itself, I mean the constitutional amendment bill itself. So we can do it, but time is ticking. And I can see, and that's why I've called you today, that if we do not seize this movement and remove the partisanship that is creeping in, this country will regret. And the president talked about this country being in tatters because of the youth. Those youth are listening, they are watching, they are observing. One wrong move, and we are going to regret why we didn't move in time and why we didn't let sobriety and reasonableness lead us. So the one person who saw to protect Kenyans, to protect the Constitution, to protect our property and our lives is President Kenyatta. At the end of the day, the buck will not stop with William Ruto. The buck will not stop with Raila Odinga. The buck will stop with you, Mr. President. Let us have an all-inclusive process. Let us have inter-party parliamentary group sit down together the way we did in Naivasha, the way we did in Windsor, the way we did in 1997 IPPG, come together. The gap is not that wide. These are issues that you can be able to negotiate, and do not let civil strife to be part of your legacy. Let people coming together as a united country to look at the few issues. So then after that, we can have a very easy passage of the BBI through an uncontested and very short process. So that going forward after we pass it, people are free to start politicking and doing whatever you want, because you cannot legislate against politicking. You cannot legislate against ambitions. You cannot legislate against 2022. It will come as sure as day for us now.